You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has described the United States military airstrikes carried out on Christmas Day against Islamist militants in Sokoto State as a blessing, signaling the federal government's readiness for stronger security collaboration with Washington. Speaking to Fox News Digital during a visit to the United States, Mrs. Tinubu said the operation was welcomed by Nigeria as part of efforts to tackle insurgency and banditry in the country. She noted that the government hopes the engagement will lead to broader and more sustained cooperation on counterterrorism and internal security.
The First Lady explained that Nigeria continues to battle terrorist groups hiding in forests, as well as criminal networks involved in kidnapping for ransom. Mrs. Tinubu maintained that insecurity in the country is not targeted at any single faith, stressing that both Muslims and Christian communities have been victims of extremist attacks. Let's take a look at the clip. Well, while we get that clip ready for you, let's quickly get our guest who's been waiting for us in the waiting room. We do have our security experts joining us. Mr. Jonathan Onoja Isaac joins us this morning.
All right, Mr. Onoja, while you're unmuting your device, let's get your general sense of, what you make of the First Lady's comments. It has generated reactions on social media. Commentators have begun to drop their perspectives. Do you think that she was well within her rights, and in what capacity was she making those comments? Right.
Good morning to Nigerians.
Yes, good morning. Please go ahead.
The First Lady statement, I think, is in view of her fight also against insecurity, and placing it side by side with the experience back home here in Nigeria. And the joy that comes with the U.S. airstrikes during the Christmas period. I think every Nigerian here knows that that airstrike was a very fantastic one. And if continuous effort is put in, not necessarily to invade the country, but to partner with the security agencies to bring to the barest minimum the issues of insecurity in Nigeria, will be a great one for the country. And so our position as a First Lady of Nigeria, I think she has to seek for peace and security of her country. And so it is in the right perspective, in the right position, and our position or her statement is in tandem with the views of Nigerians.
Well, if you say her statement is in tandem with the views of Nigerians, I mean, are we saying that all Nigerians celebrated the strike? Do you think that there is maybe half of a percentage of Nigerians who felt that that strike shouldn't have come from the United States, rather it should have come from Nigerian soldiers or military?
Yes, we've argued that that perspective. We've discussed it, we've analyzed it, and it has to do with the issues of trust and collaborations. I have for once advised that it's not necessary for the issue of strikes from the United States of America. Rather, there should be intelligence aids to see how our military will, boot on ground here, do the job. Because, after the airstrikes, there were issues of the sovereignty of Nigeria. And not until the Minister of Foreign Affairs came to clearly say that this is partnership. It's not any issue of invasion does not arise. So, but when it becomes too incessant, it will, pricks the conscience of Nigeria, whether Nigeria as a country is still a sovereign nation. And so it is more advisable for the United States of America to help the Nigerian military and security agencies with intelligence. Intelligence in the sense that they know where those guys are, like they tag that operation an operation of precision. They knows where they are, precisely give them the information of where they are, where they are gathering, and see if they're going to at any point give you any reasons why you begin to doubt their performances and their abilities. So I think at this point, what I expected that should be more on ground is the collaborations of the United States of America versus the Nigerian government and the security agencies. And we've been seeing that before. We've seen that before under the minister, under the defense minister for state, His Excellency Dr. Bello Matawale, I think during his time, even while in office now, but times where he visited some of these countries, including the United States of America, and also Turkey, to see how there can be partnership and to aid the Nigerian intelligence and military operations. So if we are seeing the result of that partnership now, we shouldn't make it like a subject matter. Rather, we should appreciate them and see how we would engage them more diplomatic. Because when we go with this idea, why should they come in? Why should they not give Nigerian intelligence? The essence for that partnership will be cut out. So let's look at a possible means to see how the collaboration will be that.
Talking about the results of partnerships, some Nigerians who disagree with you and say that what results of the partnership really, and what's the damage assessment after the Christmas Day airstrikes? They would ask questions as to how many high-value targets were neutralized in that attack, and has it stopped further terrorist attacks from happening? We saw what happened in Kwara last week. Over 200 plus Nigerians were killed in different parts of the country, and those skeptics of U.S. intervention would also point to the United States history of intervention and intervening in all around the world, and they will ask you to point to one positive example where the United States intervened and the country turned out better for it. So do you think these skeptics have genuine grounds to be worried about this sort of things happening? Because latest conversation now is that the American boots on the ground, albeit in an advisory and non-combat role, and the United States is also making entreaties to the Nigerian government to allow them have a drone refueling base in the country. And they say, it starts with little things like this before America establishes a base on a Nigerian territory. What do you make of all of this?
From your questions, I would like to take the one after the other. The idea of whether terrorists were neutralized in the last operations of the U.S. airstrike shouldn't arise. The most important thing is that there is a signal, there is a warning, and I believe so much that there are casualties. But the U.S. operations does not necessarily comes with exposing cause of individuals or terrorists that are neutralized, because that is not in line with the global standard. When it is only in Nigeria we begin to show the face of one Tuji who has been neutralized, and by next week he also resurfaces. They are not quick to give us victory. Rather, they're taking a process to ensure that all of these things will be taken off our shores. Nigerians should not be skeptical. Nigerians should believe that there's a process to it. As to whether U.S. intervention in countries globally have not left them better, we should not align our thought with that, because what they are coming to do, it is not an occasional something. It's an occasional intervention. We are not in a war zone where the U.S. will come and say they are intervening, and then before we know, it takes over our territory. No, we are a peaceful and sovereign nation trying to fight our insecurity. So their help and assistance, their aid at this moment is welcome, because we need technological advancement in the fight against insecurity. We're talking about the Tucano jet and how effective are the Tucano jet is. So our territory, even our personnel, the operation of the equipment have become very difficult for them. So we will need people who understands our terrain and also watch our geographical space from wherever they sit to see how best they can help. So when we say help comes with its own conditions, but we must not look at the negative side of it. We must give it to the positivity that yes, the U.S. interventions, more so that these are people who have bettered us, should be something that we should celebrate. Now, I'm talking about the Kwara State massacre of last week is kind of fortunate, but like we all know, insecurity did not start a day. and insecurity will not be reduced to the barest minimum in a day. This is a kinetic approach that have been ongoing. And I also advise the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Air Forces to deploy more of the non-kinetic approach. It's some of this to cure some of these issues, because yes, we are fighting our insecurity, fighting a whole lot of terrorism, ISWAP, the Boko Haram, and all of that. But yes, if you see currently what is happening in Nigeria, there are more insecurity than even what we are seeing. There are more insecurity. There's insecurity.
May I please, I'd like to interrupt at this point to ask you to further expand on what you mean by non-kinetic approach.
Yes, the non-kinetic approach, like I earlier mentioned, there are experts in this field. In these areas, I give you the instance of the former Zamfara State Governor, His Excellency, and the current state and the current Minister for State of Defense, His Excellency Dr. Bello Matawali, during his time as the Zamfara State Governor. There were allegations of negotiations with bandits and all of that. What did he do? What were the things he did? The formula was bring those who you felt are issues with the state and know what the issues are and what were the problems. Some that feel disgruntled, some that feel that there's an opportunity from government, some may feel that there are so many issues. And then if you call 100 Nigerians on the street today and you ask them what are their problems, all of them will give you different problems. And so he was able to identify the challenges of the state and negotiate with the needs of the people. Where there are no roads, provide roads for them. Where there's unemployment, reduce the unemployed soldiers on the street and take some of them from the street and then give them employment. When there are issues of hunger, he was able to at least give some palliative to some of the issues. They use some of them to go to school. They are giving free education. Some that want skills, they were.
Okay, what I'm asking, and I hear you correctly. I just want to clarify. That this non-kinetic approach, if it involves speaking or negotiating with terrorists.
Not necessarily negotiating with terrorists, negotiating with the needs of Nigerians. And in this instance, what are the needs of Nigerians? There are the youth in the street today are constitute 60% to our population, and most of them are unemployed. That's another aspect of insecurity. The people perceived an opportunity from government. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's ambition came with a renewed hope. Why we see renewed hope on paper? We must bring to the grassroots what the renewed agenda should be.
And I hear you, Mr. I hear you. I hear when you campaign for the rights of citizens to have a better quality of life. It's just that when people typically hear non-kinetic approach, what really typically jumps out is negotiating with the terrorists, hearing their side of the argument, which is something that many have accused Sheikh Gumi of doing. And that's why I wanted to clarify if that's also a position that you agree with. There are many who say they should be brought back, de-radicalized, reintegrated into the society. Is that a position you agree with? Sorry? We seem to be having issues with it. Sorry, can you say that again? We have issues with your audio.
I'm also saying that the non-kinetic approach is negotiating with the needs of the people. And whether that is
it the people? No, we're focused on the terrorists. Terrorists now, the terrorists, not the people. How does non-kinetic approach affect the terrorists? Does it affect the terrorists?
How do the terrorists form? How did the terrorists begin?
So a terrorist that has killed, just like what we saw in Kwara State now, after killing over 100 and something persons, they should still use non-kinetic to discuss with them and take care of them.
No, if you understand my position, if you understand my position,
I'm trying to understand. That's why I asked.
Solving the needs of the people, negotiating with bandits. Already the government is negotiating with bandits, and we must not hide this. We must not shy away from the truth. When people are kidnapped, people are kidnapped from the community, and they go about releasing them with ransom paid. Who
Mr. Isaac,
with them? Is the government
Mr. Isaac,
it doesn't seem like you are.
Fortunately, the network
you're
is not
trying
going
to answer
allow
our actual
us
question.
to really get your point. I really wish the network was fair so we could really listen to you. But maybe next time when we have this conversation, I'm going to pen it down. It'll be one of the questions I look forward to ask you. What non-kinetic approach means for bandits or for kidnappers or for terrorists, as they've now been
We understand what
called.
you are saying that it means for the people.
For the people,
What
but
we're
for
asking
terrorists
is what it means for the
yeah.
terrorists, how you think they should be handled.
If it applies or it doesn't apply. But I mean, your network is a bit faulty. We can't hear you. We just want to possibly end the conversation here. It's time for the headline news. Thank you so much for joining us. And please do avail yourself when next we come calling. Thank you.